Carlson, said that parents should ask babies for their consent before changing their diapers. The intent, she said, is to foster a culture of consent for babies, who would be, of course, in deep trouble if they actually need to supply consent for anything. That's obviously crazy, but that doesn't mean it won't happen or become the law in this country. And so to check on what the future is going to look like, we bring, as always, our liberal Sherpa, Cathy Areu, to join us. She's the founding publisher of Catalina magazine. Cathy, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
So consent for diaper changing from babies. This raises, leaving aside whether it's a good idea, it raises the obvious practical question. Yeah. How would a baby give consent?
Well, the idea isn't exactly, the baby's not exactly going to say yes or no, but she's saying give the baby a few moments, talk to the baby, say, is it okay, I'm going to change your nappy, because she's Australian, so that's how they say diapers. Yes. Can I change your nappy? You wouldn't say that to an American baby. I don't think the American baby would understand, but it's actually just teaching consent, what consent is. It's teaching bodily autonomy. It's teaching, hey, I'm not going to touch your body if you don't want me to. It's just like talking to a baby about anything. Mommy loves you, daddy loves you. So people talk to babies all the time, so why wouldn't the concept of talking to a baby while doing something so serious as, you know, changing a diaper be so ridiculous? Sounds
because
quite normal.
You don't typically expect a baby to respond in a way that you can understand. Again, how do you know what consent looks like? So let's just do a little role playing if we could. You be the baby, I be the parent.
Okay, and you're changing my diaper.
And I say, I'm going to make this change. And how do you express your consent or lack of consent for that?
Well, if I start crying, something's wrong. So you probably don't want to do anything at that moment because you wouldn't want to make diaper changing something that goes along with crying. You would probably want me to be in a healthy state of mind so that in the future, when it comes to those private things, I'd be in a healthy state of mind. I'd be a well-adjusted adult. So a well-adjusted baby would be a well-adjusted adult.
But maybe the child's crying because his diaper is dirty.
Right, obviously, yeah. So, I mean, the parent would have to be the best judge of that, but I guess if you would make me cry, if you asked me if I wanted you to and then I started crying, then maybe you should get a hint, take the hint.
Would it be like an eye gesture? Like, I mean, you're a mom. Do your kids... I mean, can you read their facial expressions and know that they're saying what they're saying?
It's super healthy. Erickson said, an expert, a baby expert, that from 0 to 2 are the trust years. So during these trust years, you want the baby to trust you. So there's nothing wrong with talking to a baby and those situations, just teaching a baby how to trust. So this is a moment where you're teaching a baby to trust you. So I don't think the baby is expected to necessarily give consent. You're just teaching the baby to trust you. You're asking the baby for bodily. You're asking the baby to express bodily autonomy. I think that's the big point.
Right.
Here.
Babies don't. They're not super great at understanding English, in my experience of having a number of them.
But this is how they learn
maybe
English.
Other babies are more intelligent than mine were. But what if the child keeps saying no, like over a period of weeks, and you keep going in there? I'd really like to change the diaper, but the child refuses to give me consent. At some point, that becomes neglect, right? And also nasty.
I think it's the concept of teaching the consent, talking about it. During that moment, so many parents do not discuss it, and the babies grow up, and in the English language, they're not even used to talking about those things. So the concept is teaching trust. It's trust issues.
But you don't really discuss anything with a baby. I mean, it's in the same sense.
You discuss everything with the baby.
You may talk to your dog,
I'm going to touch your arm. I'm going to put this. I'm going to put this lotion on your arm. You talk about everything. I'm going to dress you. Parents talk to babies all day long. I'm going to cook dinner for you.
What about a polio vaccine? Should you, or
you're going to have
smallpox?
Yes, you're going to get a vaccine. I mean, dead people have to give consent. That you can't give organs if you don't give consent, right? So if you have consent, even dead people can make decisions. Why can't babies? So from birth,
dead people can make decisions? How do they do that?
Well, you have to give consent to have the organs taken after you die. So if you can give consent from a baby year to your death. People should always give consent if their body is going to be touched.
Right. So if the child says, no, I don't want, the baby indicates by crying or rolling his eyes, I don't want a polio vaccine, then you just don't get him a polio vaccine then.
I think it's the idea of discussing it with the baby. The consent, I don't think, is necessarily the issue. It's the idea.
Oh.
You're developing trust.
So even if the baby says no, no doesn't really mean no, is what you're saying.
The baby can't talk during the diaper
Right.
eaters.
So with babies, no doesn't mean no. I totally get that. Where does the obedience part come in? Is there any part in the relationship with your child where the child learns to obey what you say? Or is it always kind of a give and take, a colloquy with a mute person?
This is about conversation, talking to the baby. It's conversation. It's not disciplining. These aren't the discipline years, as child experts.
Is there a
would
point
say.
where the baby says, you know, Mom, please stop talking. You talk
Or
too
Dad,
much. Just go
or
ahead
Dad.
go ahead and change the diaper. I don't think most dads would go for this, but I mean,
Oh, okay.
whatever. Maybe Dad. I don't know.
Right,
You know, hey,
right.
parent, stop talking. Just go ahead and change it.
Exactly. I don't think these are the years that the baby would be able to respond, but it's just getting the concept of, I'm touching your body, you have bodily autonomy, you should always have the right to say yes or no if someone's going to touch your body, and I'm going to teach that concept right now during the trust years, which is
I like
0
the
to
concept
2.
that kids do what they're told. That's my favorite concept for kids. You just sort of do what we tell you to do. Cathy Areu, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great to see you.
Good to see you.
Well, our forefathers fought and many died to free us from the chains of monarchy, but many Americans still can't resist getting excited about royal weddings. There's one tomorrow. We'll go to London to show you the final